I'm glad you're here. I had no idea how I was actually going to start this thing. And I hope that you can actually hear me. How does one start the beginning of a new adventure? Hopefully you start off on the right foot, right? I don't know. I had all these grandiose ideas of how I was going to go about doing things and stuff, but I realized that you're not going to be amazing right off of the bat. You have to work your way up, and you got to get stuff cranking, and you're not going to learn a goddamn thing unless you go through the experience, correct? So, why not share in the adventure together? I suffer in the turmoil of experience, so you don't have to. So, this is how hopefully things are going to go down. We're going to do a little bit of art, we're going to hang out for a little bit and chat about stuff. We're going to switch things up every 15 minutes or so, just to keep things fresh, and also because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But let's go for about an hour or so. I was originally supposed to start this at about 11 o'clock, but I accidentally hit go live immediately, so here we are. Now, no time like the present, right? It seems like destiny has just forced my hand. It's like, no, you're doing this now, finally. But before I start all that, before I show you all the cool stuff, oh, by the way, I got me some camera 1, and I got me some camera 2, so we can actually see what the hell I'm working on. But we'll get to that in a wee bit. First, I wanted to address some stuff, because, I know I'm not the only one that suffers from this. Sometimes we get the blues, and sometimes we are the best, evil thing to keep us from achieving our dreams. I say this because this has been one of those forces that I've been combating over the past few days. It's happened over for a week or so, where I've just been like, who gives a damn? Why even go forward? Why even make any strides towards what you're trying to do when nobody even gives a damn? Or will, in this self-reciprocating doubt slowly trickles down into your extremities, and next thing you know, you're not able to create. You're not able to be the freaky weirdo that you typically are. And I applaud you for being that unique spirit. I'm addressing you out there, the one who, through cosmic intervenance, has now found themselves in my clutches. And so now you're a hopeful captive audience. Don't click away. But I have something important to say. If you'll hear me out. Because I came to a bit of a, I don't know what you would call it, an apotheosis. I came to a conclusion, or I found something interesting, and I'm going to lay this anecdote on you. So, the concept of therapy, the way that we trick our brains to make ourselves feel happy, the art of self-care. I think many of us practice the dark art of beating the crap out of ourselves and mastering self-hate. But we must learn to abolish that. We must learn to embrace new magic and new ways of hacking our brains and the wiring within, to change it towards the better, to give ourselves happiness when nothing else out there in the external world is. How does one do that? Over time, in the entropy of things, we become more cynical, and we slowly dwindle away the things that used to just fire us up every single time we would interact with it. Whether it be music or video games or a good book or, that nice skeleton that you always seem to hang out with. There is something that happens in our brains that give us this feeling of unabject bliss. Unfortunately, we're complex creatures, as human meat monkeys. But that being said, no one has showed us the way. Learning spiritual growth is not a material thing. It doesn't have a material value attached to it. That's why meditation classes and interacting with things beyond our comprehension, it seems like a fruitless endeavor when we're too busy dealing with the material world. However, when I was forced to explain myself to my therapist, I had to give myself a rationale for all the things that was beating me up, right? I had to explain myself as to why there was a pervasive reasoning behind all of it. And there wasn't. It was all just a matter of it's only messing you up because you're allowing it to. Well, that's easier said than done, right? Not very cool. I would say that at the end of the line, we are forcing ourselves out of this feeling of entropy. The old tricks don't work anymore, so we have to learn new ways to adapt. So how are we going to go about doing that, everyone? I'm not just a professor of sorts where I just expound a bunch of crap. I'm also here to learn as well. Together, we will build ourselves up from the muck and freak everybody out with our awesome bog nipples. So, my point. There was a point here, I swear. There is a uniqueness about yourself. The fact that you are on this planet is just an insane amount of consequences and a whole heaping helping of luck that has even gotten you to this point, where you still somehow have all your limbs, more or less, and you still have some of your faculties, which may have chipped off along the way in the battle of the self. But when I was explaining myself to my therapist, what was the thing that drugged me out of the muck in the darkest moment of my life? The thing that almost snuffed me out like a bad jack-o'-lantern. What was the thing that kept me going? What was the thing that kind of helped elevate me back out of that moment when nothing else in this world was doing it? And it was a dumb little concept, but I'm going to lay it on you because maybe it might help you one day. Was that you are you're not a beautiful and unique snowflake. You're the same rotting mass and compost heap as the rest of us. However, on the flip side of that, you are indeed unique. You are built up of your own construct and something that cannot be matched or replicated by any other system or manufactorum here on this material plane. For some reason, you seem to have persisted in this universe. So you've been given a gift of creativity, of insight, of ability, and if you could just get out of your own head to realize your potential, you'd be able to soar amongst the stars. And but you probably need a spacesuit for that. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that without you here on this planet doing your own thing, making your own art, making your own decisions about life, your unique focal length and input, the X-ray that you embellish upon the world is unique unto yourself. There will never be another one like you. You are a prototype never once considered for mass manufacturing. And that is beautiful. And you are the only one who has the ability to get that crap out of your brain and to put it there into the real world. No one else can do it for you, and time is running out. And you could either wallow in the self-doubt that you've had and possibly roll the cosmic dice and hope that you either reincarnate or that you materialize into something better. But the point is, this is your best shot. You might as well take it. And that's why I'm here today. Through a series of concourse, of activities, of coaxing by people around me that say, do the thing, you can do that. And sometimes there is nobody to sit there and tell you that. But I'm here to tell you that. I'm here to diagnose you with a little bit more self-confidence because you have immense potential. And at the end of the day, your unique imprint on life may not create the massive waves throughout the multiverse that you thought it would. But if you happen to change one person's life into the direction of the better, if your skills as an artist or a scientist can be used in a way that can help make this world a little less shitty for somebody else, that is all the excuse you need to go out and do your own thing. Because nobody's not going to everybody's not going to jive with the stuff that you put out there. It's just how it is. Because you are unique. You wouldn't want everybody lording over every little thing you did. It would kill your creativity and kill you as a person. And I said that in a way to my therapist, but it was more like, and they were like, okay, well, I think we're out of time. The point I'm trying to make is that sometimes you gotta have a bit of a boost. I'm here to give you that boost. And boy, I sure hope the microphone was on this entire time. So, we're almost actually coming up on the time when I would start streaming. So if you would give me a moment, I'm about to make a weird woo sound. That's my ventilation system kicking on. It allows me to stay within this mask for longer periods of time. A good plague doctor must be prepared for everything. Even plagues that haven't existed yet. Feels nice. Oh god, there's a bug! Oh, there's a bug in there! No, I'm joking. Alright. It's a little bit stuffy. So maybe I could do a little bit of show and tell while we're hanging out, yeah? I think that'd be cool. Let's switch it up. Welcome to my cluttered mess. So, before we do anything else, I just realized that this frame right here is all janky. There we go. You know, I think that I just figured out the first little art project that I'm going to do while we're hanging out here. You see this frame that I'm wiggling around on the screen? Well, it doesn't have a cool looking video frame like I do with what you would call the webcam. So I think I'm going to draw a really cool looking frame that might match the aesthetic of the thing that I'm going for here. And it will capture the essence of a frame. Oh. Alright. Now, let's see here. Aside from that housekeeping up top, I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell. Because, truly, I haven't had the chance to show anybody kind of some of the stuff that been working on. And so, for those who don't know, actually, I should probably do like some introductory stuff. Hi, I'm the Necrofessor. I am your interdimensional plague doctor. I go around to multiverse realities, and I diagnose the plague, whatever that may be on any given day. And I have persisted with my artistic endeavors along the way, trying to chronicle the adventures of the Necrofessor in webcomic format. So if anybody is ever interested, go to plaguelife.com and read a webcomic which will rot your brain from the inside out. But it will be a fun binge, I guarantee. Ugh. So, along the way, I started doing other things that were not webcomic related. I started doing animations, I started doing music, not because I was particularly good at any of it, but because copyright's a bitch, and you just gotta make your own stuff sometimes. So, speaking of music, let's actually fire up a little bit more. This song is called Night Code. By the way, all this music is made by me. I do not consider myself a competent artist by any means in the musician field, but I do what I can, and I slap loops together, and they sound good sometimes. Here we are. So, I had this idea. It was an idea-shaped idea of eventually the Plague Doctor must travel all over the multiverse to various realities and various locales. And so I've been doing a bunch of various drawings of locations, but just concepts in general. Here's an Egyptian landscape that's kind of being taken over and built upon. And I am not improving the lighting, because it is a night gallery stream. We dig in the night. But yeah, that's a Sphinx. This concept was kind of an armillary that was powered by various souls and things like that. And let's Oh, I'm reading the chat, sorry. Hi, everybody. You can tell that I'm new at this, huh? So, I just wanted to say, damn, there's people in here. Holy shit. And first off, thank you for the kind comments. I'm not very good with words, but every once in a while I can turn a phrase and trip it over and make it fall into oncoming traffic. So anyway, yes, this is like an armillary, kind of a globe design that I had this idea of this swirling machine that was powered by the souls of various creatures, and so I just kind of had a field day with the various little spirits and fetuses and dual-headed oddities that were hanging out in these jars. And I'm gonna hopefully give all the stuff the coloring treatment later on. Yeah. Oh, by the way, if anybody's wondering what kind of art supplies that I use whatever the hell I can get my hands on. Half of this crap is made with like a Sharpie or just whatever pen is laying around. I'm not picky, but whenever I am trying to do like the more fine line works and stuff, I'm always on the lookout for the perfect pen. So hopefully one day I'll find it. I can actually show you a couple of new ones that I'm rocking, and they ain't bad. But I'll do that later, because we'll probably make some artwork. And that will be fun. Yes. Let's see here. So, this next thingy is something you may have seen before. This is that study background that I use in some of the Plague News episodes. And this one has already had the full coloring treatment. It also has a transparent background, so I can have moving clouds and possible Cthulhu silhouettes walking in the background. That kind of cool stuff. There's a little taxidermy cat. It's so cute. I gotta zoom in on it. If I can. Camera 1. Camera 2. Look at that little bastard. Yes. Yes. Yes! Live! Live! One day it'll live. Alright, back to this. Yes. I also have various character drawings of people that would be living all around the multiverse. And this is what I have for some of the more deserted landscapes. This is kind of a Nyarlathotep. Oh yeah, I also went about drawing as many Cthulhu Mythos creatures as I could. Just for fun. I haven't done anything with them, so maybe I should do some stuff with it. And this is what I got. This is a Yig. This is a Migo. This is a Cthulhu cultist. It's got the elder sign, so hopefully he doesn't get chopped up. It will not work! And this is my rendition of a Necronomicon. It's got teeth. Alright. And... whew! Hold up. I'll take off my mask for a second so I can hang out with you and describe things a little bit better. There we go. So, this was an idea for a kind of Abdul al-Hazared kind of design. My idea was that I wanted this kind of mad wandering Arab to be going through the desert and foretelling things, but I also wanted to have a kind of a cheeky camel smoking an opium pipe hanging out on his back as opposed to him being on the camel. So that's what I drew. That's my process. Because the camel needs a ride too. This is kind of an archaeologist design, very simple. Somebody who would be easily impressed by simple eldritch horrors. But I think that the binoculars are a little bit on the janky side. Again, I just drew this with a Sharpie or whatever, so my outlining skills could use a little bit of work. It all depends about speed and everything. And this was a kind of a rough sketch of like an assassin character. I wanted to have somebody who was wrapped up in a shroud and had like a dagger and was running around causing mischief on behalf of some unknown mysterious malefactor. This is like a concept I had for a beginning opening cutscene of the beginning of the universe, which is described in Lovecraft's work as like these flute-playing creatures which were piping the sounds of the universe while the swirling mass of existence came to be known as Azathoth, which is this guy right here. This guy. Necrofessor, you are a gentleman and a scholar and a horrible friend. Aw, you too, buddy. This is a Cthulhu. This is my idea of a Cthulhu. I had to give him like a... I wanted to give him like scales, and it came out kind of almost looking like fur, but I don't care. It kind of looks cool. I think once it's given like a green coloring treatment, it will it'll kind of read out a little bit better. Sometimes you can go overboard with your details. You know, it's all a matter of discrepancy. And as you can tell, I'm using a very cartoonish style. So whenever you do stuff like this, it's you want to focus on what are the minimal amount of details that I have to put into this to convey the thought that I'm trying to come across. Like, you know, this is Lovecraft. Everything else is just fun stuff, like all the details in the lantern in the book and everything and stuff. But having a sort of a silhouette similar to Lovecraft's face and the basic suit which he was known to wear, that sort of stuff is important, and you got to put that in there. Everything else is your sort of artistic interpretation, and you don't have to be an amazing artist at portraiture or anything like that to convey an idea. Like if somebody's got a rounded nose or a kind of pointed features or something like that, just try working that out and you might be surprised. These are more Elder Gods. This one is my rendition of Nyarlathotep when he's in a form that can be conceived by human minds, of course, as most of these Lovecraftian horrors usually are. This is Shub-Niggurath. This one is the Beast of 1,000 Young. It is basically at the beginning of the universe, for those who are not Lovecraft weebs like me. The mythos goes that Azathoth, this mofo, is the gibbering idiot god of the universe, which brings about all existence into the multiverse and all that stuff. Well, some of its beginning daughters and sons of this thing were originally Cthulhu, Shub-Niggurath, and Nyarlathotep. I believe that's how the lineage works. And so they envelop various aspects of chaos throughout the cosmos. And but who cares about all that? It's all about how they interact with the characters and watch simple peons' heads explode with their mere presence. This one is Hastur, the Yellow King. The king, the one who shall not be named, but I just named him. This one is my idea of Yog-Sothoth. Yog-Sothoth is the one. Yog-Sothoth is the gate. How do I explain Yog-Sothoth? Yog-Sothoth is a concept of all knowledge that could ever be achieved in the multiverse, crammed together into one thing. It is the you want to know about space travel and the way the universe folds itself in half into weird contortionist pretzels? Yog-Sothoth is the one who knows this. But to even get close to this thing would wipe your whole world out, which is kind of crazy because in the Dunwich Horror, a bunch of inbred hillbillies essentially try and resurrect Yog-Sothoth or bring him into this mortal plane, which would just tear everything in half, which is super cool. So go for it. See what happens. Alright, this is some basic stuff. Okay, these are just like gravestones, and one of the things that I try and do whenever I do gravestones is not to pick one religion or another. I look at all the gravestones and all the tombstone designs that I possibly can view with my eyeball sockets and try and convey that and stuff. So you may have like Roman Catholic symbolism and stuff, but I also try and throw in as many things such as like Japanese Shinto designs or like Egyptian stuff. And just mix it all together because every death is beautiful. And these are some sort of like tombs. Go down into the mausoleum. Yeah, and so I give these the coloring treatment, use them as background images. As a matter of fact, if you have a perceptive eye, you may have noticed that this one and the one sitting right off frame are not the same at all. Actually, they might be the same. I'm not sure. What's this? That's a skill tree. That's a bunch of nothing. This is me working with some symmetrical work. I was trying to do like a spooky castle and I just wanted to draw one half of it and flip it over. And whenever I did, it looked okay. It looked okay. I made it glowy red. I don't know, yeah, I wanted to make it like the drawbridge to be like a mouth and stuff. Not like Castle Grayskull. I wanted it to be kind of like a Castle of Dagon, but to be honest, I just kind of wanted to draw mushroom chimneys, so I went with it. Yeah, this is just a doodle. It's a doodle. There is a snail with bat wings, an abomination, and a scientist, a kind of mechanical thingy, some mushrooms in a jar, and a cat squid. Your friendly cat squid. Oh, what else we got? This is a fishing dock. Basic stuff. Like, I drew the barrels, and I drew the things, and there's like a background, and there's gonna be the sea. Yeah, so... and I think we come to the end of that part. There's a little bit of show and tell for you. I appreciate you watching and viewing all this stuff. This is the kind of crap that I crank out in my spare time, and I do it in hopes that one day I will be able to put all these sort of visual assets together and create much more robust sort of interactive artworks and stuff like that. You know, if I wanted to do visual novels, video games, or sort of like, you know, introductory animation stuff, I'm on my way. I'm making it happen. And so you may do some doodles, and you may do some sketches, and you may not think that they're going to go anywhere, but hold on to that crap. Because I used to destroy my artwork all the frickin' time, and then I realized, stop being an idiot. Stop destroying this sort of stuff just for the pervasive thought of it. Some artwork, yes, absolutely, you destroy that stuff. It never sees the light of day. However, I highly concede that you at least hold on to the stuff, even if you don't like it at the time. You can always come back later and reevaluate it with fresh eyeballs that you have plucked from your local crypt. Let's see what else I can throw at you. I got stuff. I got sketches for days and miles. I am always drawing. I'm a real hoot at parties, I'm sure. You want to see something cool? All this is just webcomic. This is all just Plague Life comics. It just keeps going. It do not stop. And this isn't even all of them. There's just... It'll never end! This is my life now! And I'm loving every second of it. I work for you now. I am part of your bankroll. You are the one who dispatches me out into the night to give local anesthesia to the petting zoo. Happy Halloween! It's Halloween, everyone! And don't you say any different. For those people who say that Christmas is their favorite holiday, they just like presents, okay? They just like presents. This was some basic flash. I don't even know if you can see any of this or if the resolution has just cut it all to hell. These are just some basic sketches. It's like a witch's broom that says "Rule the Night" with a ribbon around it, and some candy and a skull and some other fun stuff floating around it. And this was a sort of cartoonish spider with a top hat and a mustache twirly action, about to take on a helpless morsel. And I do a lot of this cartoon new school style, as they call it. And I am honored to have some of my artworks on people's skin flesh. These are stuff that just hasn't been finished. See, I just haven't even finished this crap. It's just sitting out there, just not being done, not being nothing with. It's like an eyeball with like a feather and a gear cut. I have a million kind of bottles like these. There's a candle. It's a three-eyed kitty with the bonefish. This one got a little bit cluttered, but the idea was that I wanted a palmistry hand sitting on some tarot cards with a rosary, but not a rosary for a Catholic rosary, a Cthulhu rosary. And the idea got a little bit jumbled, but it's there. There's ideas there. This is a big-eyed girl. big-eyed squirrel. It's got a what looks to be like a Necrofessor tattoo on her arm. That's cool. That's some shameless self-promotion right there. I will draw people that have tattoos of my artwork on it. Yes. It's all good. I mean, I like this tattoo style. If I saw somebody that was tatted up like this, I would be like, yes, I approve. I approve. This is another one of those sketches that could have just gone somewhere, but it never did. A very highly detailed sort of steampunk baroness sitting on a chase lounge, while in a porthole in the background there was this giant Cthulhu, or not, well, like a tentacled flying squid creature coming out from the sky, while she has a model of an airship and an old, like, little coffin curio case with some sort of alchemy bottles. And she's left her boots by the side, and there's a sea turtle with a bunch of mushrooms growing out of it. I don't know why. You notice I have a thing about mushrooms. I'm a child of Wonderland. Oh, you want to see something that'll get me demonetized? Here's an approximation of a transorbital lobotomy. Freeman, 19 degrees. Alright, look away, children! I'm sorry if I have to show this and if this is, like, grueling to people. This is the human body back whenever we had no idea what the concept of gray matter was and what caused delirium and stuff like that. We're still figuring it out, let's be perfectly honest. So, the concept was that I could not find an image that had both the bone structure and the muscle structure inside of the drawing of the lobotomy. And I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to take this off screen so it don't sit too long. Some people get put off by stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's, but I like doing anatomical drawings because it helps build your skills and your muscle memory when you draw stuff. To have a better concept of the way muscles move and, brains function, stuff like that. Yeah, I have some squeamish eyeball viewers out there, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, I'll do it again probably later. So this is a drawing of, like, an older sister burying her younger brother, and, like, it's starting to rain, and, like, so her and her friends are just, like, they're gonna bury... Look, I wanted to see this drawing come to fruition, so I drew it, okay? There is no underlying thesis behind it. Or is there? All I knew is that drawing somebody who's sitting in a wheelchair from this top-down angle was very sort of like... I had to figure some stuff out. I don't know if I quite achieved what I was going for. I mean, this is still definitely work in progress if I ever finish it. But I wanted the kind of rain to come down at a dynamic angle and all this cool stuff, and have the younger brother just freaking out because he's, being buried alive. Ain't that fun? Just, wholesome. This is a family-friendly Christian Minecraft server that we're running here. This one is a frog. It's a frog sitting on a mushroom. I know, mushrooms. What is up with all these mushrooms? Well, I love mushrooms, okay? There's a frog in a fancy outfit. I wanted to accentuate some of his, like, blobbiness. You know how frogs, they're not solid creatures. They're kind of liquid. So I wanted to make sure that whatever he was wearing, he kind of had this, like, sag to it. But, like, a classy sag. We all have that classy sag. And what the frog is smoking is, like, this sort of industrial pipe with, like, a little Nixie tube bottle that's heating the thing and creating this sort of smoky bubbles. Smoky bubbles. Have you ever seen smoke inside of bubbles? It's a very cool effect. And it's fun when they pop. In the bottom, these kind of flowers that are made out of gears. Kind of like it lives in a world of gears and machinery that all come to life. I bet if I put my mind to it, I could do a very impressive Alice in Wonderland portrayal. But if I were to do something like that, I would go all the way. That would be my new life's work. I would not stop doing illustrations for it. This is some more sort of flash art, just to keep, just to kind of take my mind off stuff and just do whatever. This one is kind of a kraken, the squid head with octopus tendrils wrapping up a boat. And then I just drew this, like, thing. I'm not sure. But it it catches your eye, so it achieves something. This is a sort of, like, old cartoonish style, angry fish. Don't mess with this guy. And this is a reference to Dune. I was kind of drawing some sandworms and the crease knife. The spice must flow. Yeah. then this is a... I had this idea of a sort of a nautical theme, but like these two ravens with their tail feathers creating the night behind this sort of a sea goddess who was holding a nautilus. And then there was this cow skull with some crystals hanging off of it. And as you can see, it is kind of a jumbled mess. It was a lot of different clashing concepts back and forth, so this would be something that I would definitely probably refine or focus on one major aspect over another and touch this up. But otherwise, I mean, it looks kind of pretty. And if I saw this rocking on somebody's shin or something like that, I would not complain. I'd be like, hey, that's pretty cool. But from a critical standpoint, things could be improved, and whenever you hold art pieces further away from your body, you have to make sure that it can read better. That's why those old artsy-fartsy people have those long paintbrushes that are like 2-3 feet long so they can paint from a distance. I want to get one of those long-ass paintbrushes. I suppose I could make one. This is some fan art for some local friends of mine who make comics themselves. Children of Proteus. I say go check them out. This is a picture that I never finished. It is a... drawing of a little girl taking out a bunch of like monsters and creatures at this circus while there's this like swirling vortex that's just tearing up the circus tent behind her. I had these very grandiose ideas of what I wanted to accomplish with this painting, and I didn't quite nail it the way that I thought I was doing it. Maybe if I go back with the skills that I have acquired now and I probably approach this, I bet I could fill this piece out and it would look pretty badass. But back in the day, I just feel like I didn't have the chops, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can watch an art piece be put together and you're like, I can do that, and then you try it and you're like, I suck at this medium, or I just realized that I don't got what it takes to do the thing that I'm trying to do. Stuff is an iterative process, and a lot of artists do not get credit for the fact that most of the time, 80% of your free time is spent researching and messing up and getting better, and people only see the final product. And that's kind of a pro tip for people that are trying to submit portfolios that I've learned, is that professional art critics who are looking at stuff to hire you for a gig, they do not care about your process. They don't care about how you have an older piece in your portfolio that you're very fond of and stuff, but I've gotten a lot better since then, and this is what I kind of can do now and stuff. They don't care about that. Nobody cares about that. Unfortunately. Your process is your own spiritual path coming to fruition, and at the end of the day, those things that you spit out at the end, that's the only thing that gets judged. That's the only thing that they care about, is what you can produce the end product of. Be like, okay, I don't care. I know that you've grown, but I don't care about your growth. I can't see that in a physical way. You know what I mean? So, it is a cruel reality of the artist that in order to gain your experience, a lot of the times it's just you attacking the boards by yourself, just doing what you can to figure out what you want to get better at. And I'm not saying that I spend all this time practicing or getting in my... No, I go free. I just draw whatever the hell I want half the time. I have my safe space, you know what I mean? My safety net of typical things that I will draw over and over again. And it's when you go out of your headspace to challenge yourself and do something that you're not used to, which is where you find your growth potential. For instance, if you're not good at portraiture, I have a sketchbook of me doing portraits that you can tell from the beginning to the end that I had learned so damn much along the way. And at the end of the day, I still look at it and I'm like, oh, these are awful. It's too far. I'm not going to pull it out of the catacombs right now. But just keep in mind that you are a work in progress, and you're a beautiful one at that. So, if I were to do something like this, what would I do? Well, I would definitely darken this background. I would make this super saturated. I would go in and I would darken the ever-loving crap out of it. But I'd also give some evidence to the light. Because what I'm trying to do is I would be building up this explosion, this psionic blast that's happening behind the circus tent, and I would want to accentuate that the most. I would also want to have some of the swirly clouds be still kind of well lit. You could definitely tell that I was layering and I was getting to kind of where I wanted. And then the self-doubt kicked in. But yeah, along the way I would finish up all the details in the sort of the mid-ground, and I would claim the open space. For instance, if I were to make something glow, I would first paint all the glow spot that I wanted to do. If I was doing watercolor, you can only add to watercolor. You can't really take away too much. So I would fill it out with a sort of yellow spot, like I'm doing right here, and then I would slowly build my values up on the inside of that. And then so whenever I go to color everything else in, I know that this is all the space that I have to work with to make that glow effect happen. And so I've already given myself space, and I've already given myself an outline to work with. And at the end, it's left with a very convincing thing. And let's see where I'm at. I got a bunch of different stuff. And I'm pulling stuff out from, like, the back of Nowhere Land. And what else is it? This is just a big family of sort of plague doctors. This is my plague squad. This is I just wanted to draw a big family, and everyone was a plague doctor in their own way. You have, like, old grandpa plague doctor, and then you got, like, the father and the mother, and then you got the kids, and you got the dog, and then you got, like, the dead sort of mummified, like, desiccated little baby corpse thing that they keep around because it's a member of the family, and they're not getting rid of it. It's a member of the family. Yeah. This is kind of a fun idea, and I was going to do them all hanging out in a kind of nighttime graveyard scene with a kind of a gazebo in the backyard with, like, plague doctor-y looking gargoyles. Yeah, I might go back and I might finish this up. I was having a lot of fun with it. And I believe I was using just basic, like, Sharpie. Just sketch it out with a mechanical pencil and then hit everything else with a Sharpie. Keep in mind, if you're going to paint over Sharpie, you have to be particular with it. You got to work quickly, because if you linger for too long with your pigments and your water, it will bleed. Alright. Oh, this is a friend that I drew. This is a kind of a... This is whenever I draw portraiture, I draw my friends in very dynamic poses. This is my friend Lois, who is a powerhouse soul, and I wanted to sort of demonstrate that there is a clandestine organization known as the Red Fork Empire, which is pervasive throughout the multiverse, and I wanted to draw a sort of citadel location that was ran by nuclear power plants in the background, and so just kind of little throwaways to local organizations and secret clubs that are all throughout the world. They're out there if you look for them. Some airships. I think I got the perspective right. I didn't use any guiding lines. I just kind of eyeballed it, and I got close. I got pretty close. Alright. That's a little bit of show and tell for now. What time are we at? Oh, damn, we're already at the halfway mark. Nice. Hey, we're making progress. You know what? Instead of doing the drawing the frame, because if I were to draw the frame, this thing, the thing that I'm wiggling on the screen as we speak, I want to draw a cool sort of cartoonish frame that will go around this. But I'll do that later because that requires exporting and voodoo magic that will require a lot of clicking and a lot of grunting. And we'll deal with that later. But I have been commissioned by a friend of mine to do a little bit of artwork. And by a little bit of artwork, I definitely emphasize the word little. I have been given... this is Bristol board, by the way. I've been given these tiny frames and been asked to make various portraits for a puzzle labyrinth house that is being made. So I am going to make little tiny portraits. And if the zooming gods are kind, you will be able to witness it alongside with me. And zoom in on my crud hands. On my beef mitts. I'll zoom out a little bit. There we go. That'll work. Alright, so how are we going to go about doing this? Well, I'm going to use Bristol board. Bristol board is a nice sort of cold compressed paper. You can paint on it, you can draw on it, and the bleed factor is not that bad. I like it because the grain is cut down a little bit low. And, oh yeah, I'm a paper snob. Have I told you this? No, I'm not. All I know is that whenever you go in to buy some sort of artistic paper that won't bleed all to hell and back, the problems you face is like, well, what type of stuff do I use? The stuff I use is Bristol board. That's it. This is the stuff I use. I can paint on it, and I can ink on it, and it doesn't give me a whole bunch of problems. Some people use a sort of vellum surface to get a real smooth, satiny sort of finish on their papers. And some people just bash rocks together down by the river. Alright, what am I doing? I am making little frames. I'm going to cut all these out, and I'm going to glue them to the... Oh, you know what I should do is I should also draw the outside of the frame. You know, if I was a wise person, I would have done this to begin with. I would have started off this way. Alright, that'll work. And... did I do it? We'll start off with, how about 3? We'll make 3 little paintings tonight. 3 little drawings. I don't know if I can access my paints right now without having to go clamber across an entire mine-infested field of stuff and debauchery. Alright. By the way, I'm doing an audio check. Can everybody hear me? Check, check, check. Yay. Alright, so the first painting I'm going to do is going to be something like a family portrait. But it'll be a spooky family portrait. And so first I'm going to draw the dad. He's going to have soulless eyes and unusual disposition, a weird sort of like Rasputin looking beard thing, and a top hat. Yes. Okay. And then we're going to have the mother, and she's going to be just dying to be a widow. This is a mixture between like long flowing drapish hair. Her eyes are also not quite so soulless. They look like they're ready to clutch a knife and to bring an end to this family. And so then we will draw the son. Now the son has suffered a horrible malformity, but he is loved all the same. I mean, how much love can you have when you're being fed through a sleeper cell using a funnel and wadded up treacle? And then I will draw the little sister, who doesn't quite look much like a person anymore, as much as they do a doll. As if their soul has been taken out and put somewhere else. And in the center will be the cat. Who has witnessed all the atrocities this family has committed, and then some. And then at the end we will mire this in shadow. Lovely. Alright. Raputin. This is a Mangaka 0.1 inker. It's good. It does the thing. I am going in with a light kind of a crosshatch sort of action in the background to fill it out. And if I can get to my other art supplies, I can throw a gray wash on this. And just quickly go over all the details. And I'm going super fast too. I have a sort of a signature scribble to the way that I approach a lot of my artwork. I freehand it because the awfulness is built into the branding. And also, I love seeing that sort of scribble. Whenever I see an artist that's really just throwing pressure into the paper and bleeding their soul into it, there's a sort of beautiful anguish that is witnessed. I'm glad you're all out here tonight, joining me in the night gallery. We're here, we make art, and we discuss plagues. We discuss works in progress. This world is a seedy malformity, but we shall persevere and look good doing it. Alright. Something like that. Sketchy, sketch, sketch. And I'll kind of fill out the back behind them a little bit. I just kind of want to give fleeting silhouettes, because from a very far distance, nobody's going to truly tell what is happening here, other than there is a distorted image of a family portrait. Which is what it's all about. Okay, so we have that. And if I have an art supply bag nearby, I can pluck out something that might help us. What is this? A dark purple? I got a dark purple Sharpie, everyone! Stand back! And we're just going to color in the background behind them. And draw an outline. Make sure I got everything. Alright. Okay, so we have the creepy portrait. Second step is maybe like a bowl of fruit or some crap, you know? Something that looks basic. This will be something I might hang up in like a kitchen. But the bowl of fruit is not what it seems! It's never what it seems. And there will be a skull sitting in front of it. Hello, skull. Basic. Don't gotta be the most complex skull in the world. Just gotta give the impression of, what is that? That's a skull? Okay, moving on. This is sort of a raggedy cloth sitting on the edge of the table. And so we have a rotted pear coming up first. The thing about this pear is it's kind of weird because it has like a bone sticking out of it. There's not bones in pears. And the second thing will be sort of like a banana. But this banana is not a happy one. For you see, this banana has stitches. Yes, glorious. This is my finest work. And like an orange just peeking out. And it's got an eyeball. You can't tell. You can't tell. You'll never tell. You'll never catch me alive. Alright, sketchy sketch, sketch. Bring in this bowl shape. Adding a little bit more shading on the bottom. And chugging forward. Look at that. And before you know it, it's a bowl of damn fruit. Actually, I'm going to go and do the same thing I did with the family portrait, which is just kind of do a little bit of cross-hatchy bitch stuff on the back. Yeah. Making moves. And see, I was so worried about what I was going to do in front of the camera of people, how I was going to approach talking, and it's so easy to get into your head about stuff. And get one over on yourself as well. Alrighty. There. The table is nice and furnished. Ta-da! Okay. Now, what else do I got in this little bag of tricks? I am literally pulling out random colors. What do we got here? We got a yellow. That'll be good for that banana. And I will color in the family's eyes with it as well. There's not an eyeball there, but I'm putting it there anyway. It's my art. I do what I want. Alright. And red for the background? Alright. It seems that I am doing well. This is a sort of metallic-y colored pencil of a... That'll work for the pair. What else do I got? I'm just pulling out colors. I'm that good. I'm unstoppable. And this sort of baby puke green for the ratty cloth. And can I find a sort of brownish color, perhaps a gray, for a humble little table? Oh, here's a kind of a purple color. How about that? Alright, cool. And ta-da, we got a little bowl of fruit. I think that'll be fine. I'm going to fill out this tentacle. I'm not going to color it. I'm just going to kind of color little swipes on it. Alright, and the final thing will be an image of a pastoral graveyard. And the way that I'll go about doing this here, let me make sure I'm in frame, is I will kind of make like a hill, and then there will be another hill in the background. And it will look like a butt. Yes, it will. This is sort of a mountain scene, and I want to kind of have like a tree hanging in the distance. Little spooky branches. Alright, yes. And you too can do all this. I do not consider myself any talent that isn't unachievable by any means. This can be achieved through mortal hands. You too can draw tiny art. And this is a sort of a statue of like a little angel and stuff. Before I knew it, I started drawing gravestones, and before I knew it, I couldn't stop. Alright. Little striky bits of lines. Give the impression of not quite grass. That should be my food slogan. It's not quite grass. Alright, cool. And instead of a sun, we're going to do a circle. It's not a sun in any way, shape, or fashion. Actually, we'll do like a moon. How about that? We'll draw that sliver for the moon. Alright, let's color in this beast. That's fine enough. There's plenty of details to be had in the imagination. Let's see, orange. We got a pink. I think the pink would be cool. How about this blue metallic for the background? Nice and chill. That's what we're all about over here at Plague Life Night. And I'm going to ruin this highlighter because it's been sitting in a bag for like 3 years. Why am I not using it for anything? I just completely wrecked this background. I love it. Yes. I'm going to go back in with a sort of pink and broaden out that blue and turn it into a more of serrated purple. And blend. Blendy blend blend. I know it looks wild. I know. This can only be found in the imagination. I'm not using a reference. Can you believe that? And I didn't expect everything to come out so like hellish orange, but you know what? I think I'm liking it. I think it's cool. It's not something I would have chose if it wasn't completely random. But luckily I was given a kind of carte blanche to do what I wanted. with this little project. These little paintings. So this is what we got right now. 3 little paintings. And when frames go on them, I think they'll look quite nice. It will certainly sell the illusion of things. Yes. There's a lunar eclipse on May 26th. Nice. Good time to do the night work. Alright, so where are we at in the time? We're almost at a 15-minute mark. We got 3 more minutes. 3 minutes. How fast do you think I could do a picture? Do you think I could do it in 3 minutes? Do you think I can crank out a masterpiece in 3 minutes? I think I can. Check this out. Wait, I need a pen. We don't have time for outlines. Oh, I'm losing everything. It all ran off on me. I don't have a pen anymore. I threw it in a bag and it was never seen again. There it is. What can I draw faster than just about anything else? A jack-o'-lantern. He's a happy little guy. Oh. Each jack-o'-lantern is unique, just like you. You're gonna use a little bit of my ruined Sharpie. Oh, the highlighter is terrible. How about this? That has yet to be defiled. Have I defiled this one yet? Nope, not yet. Yay! All right. I'm coming up on the time. Coming up on the time. There's a candy corn. There's a spiky thing. There's a little mushroom. You'll never see it. Here's another moon that is just jank all to hell, and some crosshatchies. And can I call this a good work of art at all? Maybe. This is my finest work of art yet. You know what? And since there's going to be an eclipse, I'm just going to color it all in. That's my excuse. Hooray! All right. And what is this? Pink? Okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't doing that on the screen. My bad. Here we go. Look, we're done now. Bam, 3 minutes, and I managed to get, what, 4? Something like that? My bad. I gotta get a little bit better at organizing my framing capabilities. I'll get better. Everything takes practice. Alright, so we're coming up at the 45-minute mark. That means I've officially been on for about an hour. That's nice. Very nice. And I could not have done it without you. Thank you for all joining me. And so, we're going to kick it up. We're going to change the landscape a little bit. And I'm going to put my gear back on. You don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But we're figuring it out together. Alright. So, I'm probably going to call it there, and we'll just kind of wrap up and hang out a little bit. So, this was my first shindig doing a live jam, and it was a bit rambly. It went on in places, but I was glad that it just actually happened in the first place. You know, like I was talking earlier, we can get into our own heads so easily that we can prevent ourselves from just doing the simple things in life. And sometimes just breathing should be an accomplishment enough. Some of our friends do not have that privilege. And that being said, I am honored that I have been given the opportunity to do this. Because this is indeed an opportunity. It's not an obligation. It's not something that I'm forcing myself to do. However, I made a promise, and I intend to keep it. And that promise is that whenever I reached my first benchmark on my Patreon goal, that I would start doing live streams. And here we are, finally making it happen. Back when I was just a simple sewer rat who had no greater ambitions or any endeavors to hang out with anybody or to be influenced and to never influence. I feel like I have been given a opportunity to show what I'm kind of all about, and get the fresh, unfiltered glance at my process and the way that I go about certain things. And it is a haphazard mess half the time anyway, and it's just how the chaotic world works over here. In order to create half the crap that I do, you have to be embrined in a system of madness. It's where the best art comes from. You gotta dredge it out of the deep. So that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up. I am so grateful that you have all joined me tonight, and I hope that you all had a good time just hanging out. This was all an exercise in relaxation, I would say. Learning to just let the small stuff slide and move on and get better at stuff along the way. And I think we accomplished all those little things. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But first, you shall hear me noodle on the keyboard. Because why the hell not?